Hey, what's up, guys? Rob Shoecraft here with 3 Storm Fitness, and I'm going to share with you today a hack squat workaround, kind of an alternative to a hack squat machine, using the Landmine, using that specific Landmine configuration that I've talked about in previous videos, which I'll link to, the Herkin Landmine configuration. Basically, what I got back here, I won't go into all the details, but I combined 2 different Landmine pieces. Here's what I got here for double Landmine stuff. This is a single Landmine exercise, but basically I took a safety pin pivot Landmine attachment, drilled a hole through here, and combined it with a post, like when you put like a 100-pound plate on the ground. So combine the 2 so that way it'll sit on the it'll rest on the safety pins in the power rack, but also have the swivel action as opposed to just going up and down. It's nice because you can control the height here. So let's start with that. Actually, let me start with what I actually meant to do. I'm going to show you this variation here. So I'm going to unrack it, boom, walk out, squat down. I'm done, walk it in, to the end, drop it down. So I got a lot going on here. I already showed you how the swivel works. Again, so instead of going just up and down, I can walk it out, so I can unrack it at a reasonable level, as opposed to if I didn't have that swivel, at least I think I'd have to start from a really low bottom position and then come up, start the set that way, which isn't ideal. This way, what I got here is those Black Widow platforms. I love these things, use them for all sorts of stuff. Made a video last week about their many uses other than just hip belt squats. So they're resting up here. I suppose if you wanted to, you could use like one of these band pegs to rest the barbell on. The only thing I don't like about that is it's kind of smooth. I mean, it would probably work, but it just seems a little less safe. I feel like this, with the texture of it and just the sheer size of the platform, you have a lot less chance of catastrophe if you misjudge it, especially if you're exhausted or whatever. That's why I like to use these platforms here. I guess you could also probably use like a J-hook to rack it sitting on there and then walk it out. I don't see anything wrong with that. So just a couple things to consider as far as your platform goes. I mentioned I like the height options that this provides, as opposed to just doing this from a standard Landmine post that sits in a plate on the floor. And I like the angle. Right now I'm about, what is this? I'm about 28 inches off the ground. So I get an angle, I get a range of motion, a trajectory rather, that's very similar to like a hack squat machine that you would use. So I'm not having to lean super far back like I would if the fulcrum point, I think I'm using that term correctly, if the fulcrum was all the way down to the floor. The angle's just different. Hopefully that makes sense. Another thing I have here is another safety pipe going across just slightly higher, pardon me, I can't talk today, slightly lower than my end range of motion, basically the bottom of my squat. And I have that for probably obvious reasons. If I fail on the set or something goes terribly wrong, I'll at least have this as safety. I guess I could take it to another level and add like maybe a small box under here, just in case I could just completely lose it. But whatever. I suppose I could leave that up to you. I'm not using one. I've been doing this exercise variation. I've used it a couple times during a workout. Yesterday I had over 300 pounds on this thing, and I was doing some higher rep sets to failure on a program that called for a hack squat machine, and it worked really well. I mean, I was surprised. I definitely got a workout with this thing. So another piece, and this is sort of where we're getting a little bit of, I might be working with stuff you don't have, but this right here, so it's kind of funny. So this, by the way, this is a Viking press attachment. This one specifically is from Black Widow Training. I love this thing. I use it as it's, originally intended for different Viking press variations, the Landmine. It's I did a review a while back. Beautiful product. Titan Fitness makes a version that is significantly cheaper. I want to say like almost 3 times cheaper. I think it's like $50 that I've heard good things about, though I've never used. So if you want to try this variation, you're kind of in a pinch. Maybe go with the Titan Fitness one. If you want a really solid bulletproof one right here, this is my jam. All that to say, a lot of folks have asked me with the Viking review, the Viking attachment review that I did a long time ago, if you could do squats with it. And my immediate thought, and I've seen people do it, there's a guy named, I think his name's Leo Pando, I believe is his name, hopefully I'm not butchering that. He made a kind of a cool video of him doing Viking squat variations, where he was going this way, he was facing forward. Now, personally, this is just a personal preference, I don't like going forward. I don't like landmine squats. I think they have a place. I think that you can certainly benefit from them. I don't think they're a bad exercise. I just don't like them. I can't put my finger on it. I don't feel like I get the same muscle activation. And then when it comes to a hack squat, if you're purely trying to go off of clone a hack squat machine, it's really not the same. When you're driving up, you're leaning forward versus a hack squat machine, you're going backward. This allows you to go backward, and if you're using the Viking press, if you've seen like hack squat landmine variations, sometimes people will take a single post when they don't have the attachment, and they'll just place it right on their shoulder, and they'll go down like this. A lot of times though, it's facing forward, so you get that forward lean. This is a lot more stable. It allows you to hang on to something, and it sits very nicely on the back. It's really I don't find it to be any less comfortable than a regular straight bar on my back, loaded with a bunch of weight. When you go this way, when you face into it, another thing I don't like about it is that it really seems that these vertical neutral bars really kind of jam into the clavicle. It's just real uncomfortable. I suppose you could put a towel on or something. There's no need for a towel when you do it this way, at least from my experience. So it's an awesome exercise. You're basically only restricted by, as far as weight goes, by how much weight you can fit on the post. Right now I have 3 plates on here. I could easily fit another 3, like I had 6 on here yesterday. 7 might be a stretch, but if you want to go a high rep pump set, I mean, for most people, whatever that is, 300-ish pounds is going to be plenty. I guess you could use 100-pound plates if you wanted to, or some other, I'm sure there's another, add bands or chains or whatever, other ways to make it harder if you need to. One other thing, I'm using in this case a little better barbell than I normally would use on landmine exercises, especially one where I'm going to be sitting, kind of getting beat up on the platforms here. My main reason for that, how much time I got left? I'm trying to keep this under 10 minutes. My main reason for that is it's purely because I'm using more weight. It's just kind of a safety concern. I don't know where these cheap barbells that I bought actually came from. They're kind of no-name brands. I've seen barbells snap in the past, never in my gym, fortunately, not yet. But right now I'm just using like a Rogue beater bar, which I think they don't make anymore. I think they got replaced by the Echo bar. But it's just a little higher quality, but it's not a barbell. It's not like my power bar that I love and I don't want to ding up too bad. So that's just, again, a matter of preference. Play with it. Let me know if you have any questions about this setup, this configuration, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day.